Welcome back. Secure, contain, protect. To the Foundation, of course. We're reading a series in sequence, starting from 271 into 280 tonight, this evening. This like spooky music is really getting the vibe. There's a skip. Wait, no. That's perfect. Welcome. Join us as we take O5 clearance and go learn some things. Let's go reading. It's fun, it's fine. Spooky, scary warning, let's go. Let's go. Let's jump right back in. I feel like one day somebody's gonna be like, hey, check this out, and they're like, what the fuck is this? It's just, you skip ahead like 5 seconds. Oh yeah, he's just reading this. Okay, cool. Well, there it is. The Foundation Wiki. So as always, we usually check out the front page and then we start with a new one. So far recently, clicking random page hasn't given me a number, but now it did. Okay, there we go. So we start with a random one and then I go back into the sequence. What's our random? We get 5219. You're no longer O5. Actually, we demoted you. You're no longer O5. You're Class E now. 07. Nice one, nice one. But you said the 07 at the end as like a joke that you're, saluting, but you actually promoted me to 07? I'm now 07? I don't know what that would entail. Anyway, let's get into some reading the Foundation Wiki, shall we? I would think that if you have like, okay, let's put it in like a really theoretical context. Let's say that like the whatever country you lived in, there was like you could sign up for like a tactical program that was like secret. They put you on like a battleship. You have to like take a test on a computer, and it's just this: you read all like a shitload of articles, and you have to like pass a test. Man, you read enough, and you're probably gonna become literate in like whatever they're teaching you. I'm just saying, like, read enough Foundation articles and you'll learn about the Foundation articles. I hit the wrong button. Sorry, boss. Oh, no. You're actually, like, super promoted. Dr. Bright's scared of you. Good. 52 and 19. Item number 52 and 19. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. A minimum of 2 guards are to be stationed outside Site Director Robinson's office at all times. Access to Site Director Robinson's office is prohibited except for testing purposes. Description: 5219 is an anomalous corpse located in the office of Site Director Robinson at Site 37. Based on Based on examinations of 5219, it has been determined that it was a middle-aged white male of average height and weight. The cause of death was a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the back of the head. Yeah, to the back of the head to make sure that it's like never analyzed as anything more or less than that. It must be self-inflicted, it must be. 5219 has mild anti-memetic properties. While some properties of 5219 can be observed, subjects are unable to determine its identity or how it came to be in the office of Site Director Robinson. In addition, subjects instructed to remove 5219 from Site Director Robinson's office spontaneously forget their instructions upon viewing it, which makes retrieval impossible. Addendum Discovery. 5219 was first discovered on 2103-2021. 2 days prior, Site Director Robinson suddenly ceased responding to all messages and failed to appear at multiple meetings. Dr. Boyd entered Site Director Robinson's office to search for him and found 5219 inside. Containment was established shortly thereafter. Site Director Robinson's whereabouts have not yet been determined. Sorry, boss. We re-promoted you back up.
Give me that freaking Go5 key card. Give me that key card.
You don't have clearance. All right. You're a D class. All right. I'm going to go on a break. It just sounds like a fucking roleplay that you would hear in any of the SCP games. Any of them. Single player, multiplayer. I'm imagining multiplayer, but whatever. Alright. access SCIP net email. 2 new messages. To all personnel in Site 37 from Site Director Boyd. Subject: management change. Good evening. I'm sending this message to report that despite the best efforts of the search team, Site Director Robinson still has not been found, with some suspecting that he may have been kidnapped or murdered. I do not believe this to be the case, but we must accept it as a possibility. The search team will continue to look for him, but Site 37 cannot function without a site director, so I've assumed the position in Robinson's place as the second highest ranking official in this site. I do not want this to be a permanent arrangement, but I will do what is necessary should Robinson not be found. Should this become permanent, I hope that you will all give me the same respect that you gave Robinson. Dr. Boyd, Site 37 Director. Here's your 07 keycard. Yeah, you gotta salute me while you hand it to me. That's great, thanks. You skip 06, okay, because they don't want you in there. 06 is the desk job. Obviously, if you're getting promoted to 07, you're doing all sorts of shit. Congratulations, you've been promoted to Q11. Congratulations, you're at like fucking Z200. I don't know, whatever number letter. 2 Foundation research personnel assigned to 5219. From Site Director Boyd. Subject: change in procedure. Effective immediately, all tests involving 5219 are to cease. This includes both attempts to remove it from Site Director Robinson's office and attempts to determine its identity. You will receive messages regarding project transfer shortly. Thank you for cooperation. We do not talk about the corpse inside of Dr. Robinson's room, okay? AE99, yeah. We make it like, you gotta know like a little bit about Unicode to use this one. Anti-memetic cadaver, JamCon 2021, memory affecting observational, safe. I don't know about safe. Mr. Robinson, the corpse inside your office is pretty great. Whoa. Okay. Oh, this like sparkle music in the background is really getting me there with that. I'm good. It really doesn't matter most of the time. It's just like for background noise a little bit to help entertain, but you know, maybe something a little spookier. Strike through 05. The evil 05. Yeah, it's 05. We don't have any left. Alright, 271. There's an image. The description is just SCP-271. The name of the image is infectious inscription-new.jpg. Now what could that mean? Now what in the world could that mean? Okay, it appears to be some type of inscribed, maybe stone disc. I wouldn't really even call it a tablet. It appears to be placed on what is like a glass holder with a like iron rod stand. Just a white surface in the background. I'm guessing it's like a sort of open room or like a photo booth or something. You can kind of make out the surface of like the wall. In the center of the disc appears to be a flower. It wraps outward or wraps inward, whichever you'd like to call it, but I could kind of glean as like we approach the outer rim that it looks like an arrow, or it could be like a snake coiling. Either way, the entire disc appears to be patterned almost like a snake that would be coiled in a circle. There is a series of pictograms along the line of the quote-unquote snake. It appears to be, in some form, a script, because not only the pictograms that, you know, look like whatever the term is, ancient hieroglyphic, they're also separated almost apparently randomly in each of the snake coil segments. by, sentence structures, spaces or periods, whatever, but each line appears to separate a segment of speech. Here, whatever it is. I don't really want to read all of it, but some of the pictograms appear to be like a figure with a dress, fruit, scythe for reaping grain or whatever, a boomerang, all sorts of implements, like what looks like a spade. Tons of stuff. Pieces of culture. It looks like a mushroom or a tree. Yeah. What could this be? Looks like pizza. You want to eat that? Dude, okay, you go and get, like, the coffee that has the pattern in it. Where are you gonna go get, like, the pizza that has, like, all sorts of art? Hell yeah. Item number 271, Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. 271 is to be stored as long as possible in Containment Unit exclamation 12 in blank, single blank, 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 double blank, quadruple blank on a meter-high stone pedestal, SCP-271-01, which will be flooded with water and sealed off in a hollow 5 cm thick sphere, composed of glass saturated with iron. Permanent neodymium blank magnets will be mounted around the standard-sized room to suspend the sphere in air and repel unwanted intruders. The room will be lined with pyrolytic carbon to contain the magnetic field generated by the magnets. The door to the room is to be left unguarded and disguised as an ordinary janitorial closet, and kept locked by an unobtrusive password box mounted in the wall down the hallway and around the corner that appears to be a thermostat. Okay, quite the disguise. Dr. Vug is to change the password on a monthly basis. That's Dr. V capital, upper score. Dr. V capital G lowercase. All study is to be observation only until further notice. In case of unauthorized access, electromagnets in the room are to be activated by remote to destroy the glass sphere that... In case of unauthorized access, electromagnets in the room are to be activated by a remote to destroy the glass sphere so that recovery may be simplified. Description: 271 is a small disk, composition unknown but metallic in nature, a little more than 4 centimeters in diameter, and engraved with a number of symbols that may or may not represent an unknown alphabet. These symbols are infectious to their environment over time, gradually appearing as if invisibly carved into nearby objects. They are capable of escaping through any hole, however minute, but have been demonstrated to be unable to penetrate non-gaseous fluids. Objects that carry the symbols for a sufficient time begin to be changed on a molecular level to the same material as the SCP. Both the engraving and petrification processes are extremely painful to biotic organisms. The only known method for purging the symbols is the destruction of the object, and it is not possible to do this to 271 itself. At this time, both 271 and 271-01 are thoroughly coated with the engraved symbols and seem to swim slightly. Dr. Vug and other observers have described them as looking like the far side of a heat wave, or not quite all there. The symbols also appear to have fractalized somewhat. Studies with vision-enhancing equipment have revealed miniature symbols inside and around the larger carvings on both objects. 271 was previously unknown. 271 was a previously unknown SCP recently acquired from a shrine belonging to the Church of the Broken God by Mobile Task Force. 271 was a previously unknown SCP recently acquired from a shrine belonging to the Church of the Broken God by Mobile Armed Task Force 12 when data expunged. It was previously stored in a room of its own, which documents note was to be kept sealed until the assembly was ready. Documents acquired at the same time suggest that data expunged. The platform is original on account of the expensive writing on the room in which it was contained. The shrine itself was pulverized. However, due to rapid retaliation by enemy forces, remnants of MATF-12 were forced to data expunged. Contact has been re-established, but the nature of the SCP and the enemy seekers prevent easy recovery, and it is currently considered more advisable for the SCP to remain hidden if comparatively unprotected than to attract attention by launching a very expensive recovery mission. MATF-12 has been ordered to conform itself into CU !12, the exclamation mark denoting their atypical existence outside of a secured SCP Foundation area. Okay, there's the explanation for that. Addendum 271 is not to be brought into the presence of 882. Yeah, there's the explanation. I don't know, that just seemed kind of weird. What does CU mean then? Like confidential unit? It says it's outside of their normal scope or whatever of operations. Well, here's 882. The gears? This is a different type of gear thing, right? I don't really remember what this is, but I've seen this before. Addendum 271 is not to be brought into the presence of 882. Emergency Bulletin. Reports from other embedded sources indicate that as of ... quadruple blank, the Church is aware of CU !12 and the location of 271 and is planning an imminent... Yeah, I feel like I've read this one before or something. Maybe that's why. Reports from other embedded sources indicate that as of ... quadruple blank, the Church is aware of CU !12 and the location of 271 and is planning an imminent assault against the unit. 271 is to be kept out of enemy hands at all costs. CU !12 has been ordered to mobilize and prepare for evacuation. A recovery team is being prepared for immediate deployment under the direction of Agent DuPont. A more detailed report is to follow. Okay. Artifact, Broken God, Inscription, Keter's, Self-Replicating. Okay, 272. Let's move on. Item number 272, Object Class Safe, Special Containment Procedures. 272 is to be contained in a small wooden box in a vault at Sector 25. Apart from this, no further containment is necessary, as the object is completely inert when not in use. Care is to be taken not to drop the item during transit. Description: 272 is an iron nail, approximately 11.5 centimeters long, resembling ancient designs. Covering every flat surface are engravings of unknown cultural origin. The engravings have been described as captivating but scary in a majority of staff interviewed. The nature of the object becomes apparent when it is dropped onto the shadow of an individual. The nail will bury itself exactly 2/3 of its length into the material the shadow is cast on. Following this, two effects should be noted. The person whom the shadow belongs to will not be able to remove the nail by any means, and they are limited by... The person whom the shadow belongs to will not be able to remove the nail, by any means, and they are limited to movements that keep their shadow cast on the nail. The nail, however, may be removed by conventional means by anyone else, although those requested to do so reported a mild aversion, citing claims that it feels fair. What? The object was discovered during a routine sweep embedded into an exposed rock face near an abandoned Air Force base in blank Afghanistan, with a human skeleton scattered around it. It was thought to be mundane until a researcher dropped it at their feet and was subsequently pinned to the spot for 20 minutes before being assessed. I gotta get some water in me.
Maybe there's water here.
It was thought to be mundane until a researcher dropped it at their feet and was subsequently pinned to the spot for 20 minutes before being assisted. Experiment log. Format. 272-X. Test subject. Surface. Lighting purpose. Procedure. Results. Conclusions. Addendum. This is like an old school format. 272A. Test subject 1 D-class personnel. D27201. Surface. Rock face at discovery site. Lighting. Midday sun. Directly overhead. Purpose. Establish nature of SCP. Procedure. Subject was handed the nail and told to hammer it into his shadow at his feet. Result. Subject complies. Once the nail had reached the 2/3 mark, subject could not continue. Subject attempts to move away but is unable to. Subject soon becomes fatigued and succumbs to heat stroke. Object removed. Subject given medical treatment. Conclusions. Nature of the object established. (272B) Test subject 1 D-class personnel 27202. Surface as above. Lighting night minimal. Purpose. Establish effects at night. Procedure. Nail was dropped at the subject's feet and embedded itself exactly 2/3 of the way in. Subject then asked to move 10 meters away from the nail. Results. Object embeds. Subject complies, showing no adverse effects. Subject then attempts to escape and is terminated. Object recovered. Yeah, this is old school. They just shoot him. No fucking contingencies. If you get to run away and we search for you, the nail might kill us all. Object recovered. Conclusion. Subject is free to move when no shadow is cast. 272C. Test subject 1 D-class personnel D27203. Surface as above. Lighting as above. 2 hours before sunrise. Purpose. Establish effects of lighting changes. Procedure. Nail dropped as above. Subject told to walk in a straight line away from the nail. Result. Object embeds. Subject shows no adverse effects. Sunrise occurs at 6:06 local time. Subject is data expunged. 3 cleanup teams dispatched. Subject's torso recovered 106 meters from object, showing signs of road rash and severe blunt trauma. Object recovered. Testing moved to Sector 25. Conclusions. Data expunged. Wow, okay. Holy shit. They're like spaghettified. Okay. 272D. Test subject 1 D-class personnel D27204. Subject concrete floor of test facility 25H. Lighting 1 standard 60-watt light bulb directly overhead. Purpose. Establish lighting requirements. Procedure. Nail dropped on the shadow of test subject. Subject told to walk in a straight line away from the object. Result. Object embeds. Subject is free to move. Object recovered. Conclusions. Insufficient lighting will cause no effect. 272E. Test subject 1 D-class personnel 27204. D27204. Surface as above. Lighting 1 standard 1500-watt stadium light directly overhead. Purpose as above. Procedure as above. Results. Object embeds. Subject trapped. Object recovered. Conclusions. Lighting requirements established. 272F. Test subject 2 D-class 27204 and 27205. Surface as above. Lighting 2 stadium lights positioned 90 degrees apart. Purpose. Determine if multiple subjects can be held. Procedure. Subjects positioned so their shadows overlap. Object dropped onto both shadows. Subjects told to advance away from the nail. Results. Object embeds. Subject D27204 continues unhindered. Subject D27204 continues unhindered but reports feeling a chill. D27205 is held by the object. Object recovered. Conclusions. Object Conclusions. Object cannot hold more than one subject. Potential secondary effect observed. 272G. Test subject 8D class. 27204 through 27211. See addendum for details. Surface as above. Lighting. 4 stadium lights positioned in a ring around the subject. Purpose: determine the selection mechanism for which subject is held. Procedure: subjects positioned so their shadows overlapped. Nail dropped onto all 8 shadows. Results: object embeds. D27209 is held. Parentheses, 18 years of age, Caucasian, 1.8 meters, 88 kilograms. All others free to move. Reports of a scream from all subjects except D27209. All subjects except D27209 seen to shiver. Object recovered. D27209 removed from study. Experiment repeated. Subject D27206 held. Parentheses, 24 years of age, Hispanic, 1.6 meters, 102 kilograms. All others appear to shiver and report a scream but remain free. Experiment repeated 4 additional times as per the above method. This continued after D27207 fell unconscious. Subject given treatment for severe hyperthermia. Conclusions. Emerging patterns suggest that the youngest possible subject to be held will be. Additionally, secondary effect on larger groups observed. Further research pending acquisition of a larger sample group. Addendum. Subject of equal gender distribution, ages ranging from 18 to 59. Numerous physical traits represented. This one's kind of a slog. I like it, but it's like odd. 272H, test subject 1D class. D27205, surface 1 outdoor field, grassy. Lighting, early morning sun, approximately 9 a.m. Purpose: to determine if subject can escape by digging. Procedure: object dropped onto subject's shadow. Subject then given a shovel and told to dig out the object. Results: subject digs for 90 seconds, then falls over screaming. Subject expires before medical intervention could be administered. Autopsy reveals subject died of a cerebral hemorrhage. Cause indeterminate. Object recovered, field repaired. Repeated with D27207 and 08. Results identical. Conclusions. Subjects held by 272 cannot dig the nail out. Attempting to do so is invariably fatal. Huh. Weird. It's an odd method of activation. Odd modus of activation. 272I. Test subject none. Surface no answer. Lighting no answer. Purpose: to determine the object's destructibility. Procedure: 1 D-class personnel, D27209, is given the object and a selection of tools and told to go to town in an attempt to destroy the object. Test area evacuated. Results: subject selected an angle grinder, set the object in a vise, and proceeded to bring the grinder upon the object. Well, that was smart. An instant later, the subject is seen writhing on the ground, clutching his temples. Audio recordings from inside the room record subject speaking in redacted. 30 seconds later, subject expires. Autopsy reveals the cause to be a cerebral hemorrhage. Examination of the object reveals some minor damage from the grinder. Conclusions. Object appears to be fully destructible, but will resist actions against it with lethal force by an unknown method. Object tested to maintain its original functionality. 272J. Test subject 1 D-class personnel, D27210. Surface: concrete floor of test facility 25H. Lighting: 1 stadium light positioned on a computer-controlled track. Purpose: A. Determine the effects of rapid lighting shifts, and B. Determine if subject can be withheld from the object via restraints, barriers, etc. Procedure Test 1. Light position to cast a long shadow. Nail dropped onto the head of subject's shadow. Light slowly raised. Results Test 1. Subject dragged at a proportional rate towards the object. Subject has difficulty standing. Procedure Test 2. As above, light raised very rapidly. Results Test 2. As above, but at a more rapid rate. Noted that subject was unable to remain standing and accelerated upon falling. Attributed to the decrease in shadow size relative to standing. Subject acquired minor road rash. Procedure Test 3. As above. Subject restrained with chains attached to their feet. Chicken wire screen placed between subject and object. Results Test 3. Data expunged. Subject expires. Object recovered. Further testing with restrained subjects prohibited. Conclusions. Subject seen to be dragged by their shadow at a rate required to keep it cast upon the object. Intervening obstacles appear not to impede this function, although will damage the subject, or in the case of barriers like the chicken wire, data expunged. 272H. Test subject. 1 D-class personnel. D-272-04. Surface as above. Lighting. 1 stadium light in a fixed position roughly 45 degrees from horizontal. Purpose. Establish the effects of long-term containment. Procedure. D-272-04 positioned central to the room. Object is dropped onto the subject's shadow. Results. Subject held. After the 3rd day, subject becomes unresponsive to attempts to provide nourishment. After the 1st week, subject heard to only speak redacted. See transcript below. After the 11th day, the subject, having not eaten or drank in 8 days, seemed to become agitated, rapidly shifting between mania and a comatose state. At the 14-day mark, the test is terminated. Object recovered. Subject noted to be severely malnourished, but resumed speaking English once the object is removed, and proceeded to recover rapidly before monthly termination. Oh my god, they killed him? I guess they're of no use, huh? Yeah, this is the old school Foundation. Okay. Conclusions. Extended containment has yielded that the subject will survive for prolonged periods without nourishment, but will enter a degraded mental state. Addendum. Partial transcript of subject D-272-04's manic speaking from day 14, translated in sections. Begin transcript. Dr. Kimito. For the record, state your name. Doctor D-272-04. Ashes burn at my tongue. I cannot taste the water boils at my sight. Dr. Kimito. Can you repeat that? D-272-04. I cannot sleep. The screams are heard. I am not warm. The shadow steals. Dr. Kimito. Right. How do you feel? D-272-04. The chains they bind. I cannot move. The people. Data expunged. Dr. Kimito. What is he saying? What is he speaking? Someone get me a translator. D-272-04. Growing louder. Cut my flesh to ribbons that I might be free. Subject begins clawing at his skin. Data expunged. I am the prisoner of my own foolishness. Let the crows come in. Data expunged. Let my flesh crumble like the apple whose ashes burn at my tongue. End transcript. Well, fuck. That's kind of like a morbid. Inscription, mind affecting, safe, shadow, telekinetic tool. Okay. Well, let's move on to 273. Okay, problem fixed. I don't know what happened. I think, anyway. 273. Item number 273. Object class, Euclid, special containment procedures. 273 is held in an enclosure 5 meters by 10 meters in size, half of which is closed off for the subject's privacy. All major structural and facing materials of the cell are of fireproof and non-thermally conductive materials. A bedroll and other modest furnishings are allowed, provided they remain in the private section and that all consumption of food be performed in the adjacent area. This termination stuff goes for another 1,000 SCP, so let's go murder spree. Jeez. Yeah, the old school foundation. Sometimes you get like call forwards, like foreshadowing to like a higher organization that does better things. Even if it's like insane, they still like decommission people. And they're like, hey, you might have crazy powers, but you go have like a nice life with your like stipend. Old school foundations, like, we're just gonna gun you in the head and not even write about it. Oh, okay. The boss came in and they said but we did gun you in the head. Cause cause the article said so. It's like fucking, just like, I feel like the first 500, that's a good indication. I don't know about 1,000. They're like, the old school foundation's just like, okay, there's a fire in a building. We show up and it's an anomaly. The firemen said that they know it's an anomaly. We just like gun them in the head. Anyway, we grabbed the anomaly and got out of there. It's like, holy fuck. Alright? You weren't gonna like just, hey, like you're a government official. Or like, you do good work. Like, thanks for helping us get in there. No, they fucking took out the revolver. Okay. All windows from the observation room into the enclosure are composed of heat-treated glass of at least 1 centimeter total thickness, with an insulated gap in between. Heat and infrared sensors in both enclosure and observation are set to produce an alarm if any temperature exceeds 50 degrees Celsius. Observing staff are required to evacuate the room in such an event. Food in the form of raw meat must be provided every 12 hours for consumption, at least 2.5 kilograms per feeding. Other foods may be provided at 273's request, provided good behavior continues. All clothing provided to 273 must be either flame resistant in nature or be of inexpensive make and fabrics. 273 is not to be interacted with in person if it has not consumed a meal of raw meat of at least 2.5 kilograms mass within the last 12 hours. In light of Incident 273-02, alcoholic beverages in excess of 50% alcohol by volume must not be provided to 273, nor should any other flame accelerants be provided. All staff interacting with 273 must be armed with non-lethal defense measures. Lethal force should not be used. I think it ends entirely for good after 2000. Really? Okay. It's usually only like for lore context and they'll explain it. Otherwise the Foundation overall has methods to prevent like unnecessarily, okay, instead of like paperwork, we just took out the revolver. I think they kill an entire part of the army just because they were near an SCP in the seas. They might know. Nukes them. Yeah. So I feel like some of the like later articles reference like, okay, there's like an overarching structure, but we still just like launch the nukes. Because this one was like clipping through reality. It was Minecraft walking at the bottom of the sea after us. No, that's a different one I've read about already. Description: 273 resembles a middle-aged woman of Indian descent. DNA samples and medical tests indicate 273 conforms to human normal in all other respects. Despite the subject's abnormality, DNA samples and medical tests indicate 273 conforms to human normal in all other respects. Despite the subject's abnormalities, 273 feels no need to eat or drink, but is perfectly capable of doing so. 273 has generally shown willing compliance and cooperation with the Foundation's containment and requests. 273 suffers from what it describes as a hunger, which requires regular feeding every 12 hours. This hunger satiates itself through a form of remote combustion. This produces no visible flames, instead oxidizing the subject from the outside in until reduced to a fine white ash. Metals are not consumed except under special circumstances. See Incident Report 27303. So it's like you don't consume for energy, but it's more like you just need to fucking immolate something with like your body's energy. I don't know. You need to burn something off. When tested, the hunger demonstrates a preference for meat over other organic matter, especially live human subjects. 273 exhibits no signs of conscious control over its satiation and becomes upset upon consuming live animals. Gotta love it being like at nighttime in the fucking loud ass car. Like, that it rolls by like every hour on the dot. Jesus. It's like the same engine. It must just like, hey man, I'm retired. I gotta drive my 100K monster truck. I feel like a Germa. I feel like I'm Germa. There goes the Frumer again. Yeah, when am I gonna like, yeah, you're gonna see me drunk in VR and chat's gonna be like, look at his ass. And I'm like, guys. Hey, yeah, guys, I play, can I play Super HUD? I take another swig of like my White Claw. Yeah, that's just like one VR stream I saw of him. I have no idea. That was loud. Yeah, I know. Well, whatever. I'm loud too. I'm the loudest asshole in the whole neighborhood, apparently, so. When tested, the hunger demonstrates a preference for meat over other organic matter, especially live human subjects. 273 exhibits no signs of conscious control over its satiation and becomes upset upon consuming live animals. In response to testing with D-Class personnel, 273 screamed at data expunged, sit into the corner of its private enclosure and refused to enter the front partition for 12 hours. Okay. Weird redaction. Yeah, sorry. It happened so quick, and I legit think it's somebody that's like on the highway that likes driving nearby. They're like, I'm just gonna be loud. It's fun. I don't know when it's gonna happen. It's always like I can't mute it fast enough. It sounds like it's right in my window, but like I've walked in the neighborhood and it's just like somebody drives in fucking circles or does it, or like, I don't know, it's just coincidence. No, I don't know. Anyway. No matter what, being a streamer, I'm always going to have problems, so no matter what it is. Addendum 273-01. In the event of 273's death, the body becomes the center of a large conflagration, marked by a central pillar of approximately 1 meter in width and extending far upwards. After the initial flames subside, all that remains of 273's body is a pile of white ash, with a corona of faint blue flame. The flame is not extinguishable through oxygen deprivation and requires no fuel. Over the course of several hours, 273's body slowly reforms from the ash pile by consuming any source of raw material nearby, including the surrounding air. In this state, slow consumption of inorganic material has been observed. The new body resembles the old in all ways, with no signs of injury or illness. When 273's body is completely reformed, it awakens with no memory of events after its recent death. Yeah, again, my apologies for the loud noise, but I don't know how to prevent it except for, like, I gotta be a millionaire and have my own studio recording booth. So, yeah, when that happens. Incident Report 273-01. Date double blank quadruple blank. Location. Date expunged. The Foundation received reports of a thin pillar of flame exceeding 70 meters in height, and resulting wildfires witnessed in the vicinity of blank. Due to the anomalous shape and duration of the flame, a small MTF was dispatched to the location. I plan on getting audio reducing equipment. I don't know how much it's going to help for like that same recurring sound that's so loud that I could literally hear like across the town. I don't know, it must just be like some asshole. Bodies of 2 deceased Caucasians, 1 male and 1 female, were found at the point of origin of the fires. The cause of death later determined to be severe third-degree burns. 273 was found shortly thereafter, unclothed and covered in white ash, standing over a deer carcass, which radiated anomalous amounts of heat. Carcass crumbled to ash and coals at a touch. Scream louder than the car so you cancel out its sound waves with yours. Yeah, then I could just freak out the viewer my way instead of like being somebody else external to me. You could just blame it on me instead. I mean, like, instead of like, well, I don't watch this guy reading the SCP Wiki because he has like a loud car every 15 episodes. Versus like, I don't watch this guy because he screams. He's just screaming. He won't stop screaming. 273 was cooperative at this juncture and followed the task force out. 273 was then transported to Site Double Blank for evaluation and containment. Partial transcript of interview with 273. Interviewer. Dr. Quadruple Blank. Forward. 273 had been obtained the day prior and introduced to a temporary holding cell in Site Double Blank. A video camera situated behind Dr. Blank provided visual records of the interview. 273. You were saying then that I will be kept safe here, away from people. Doctor. Yes, 273. 273. Thank you. And by the way, my name is Blank. You may use that instead. Doctor. Noted. Pausing. Shuffling of papers is heard. What was the first thing you remember from when you were younger? 273. Long pause, followed by sharp inhalation. I woke up surrounded by flames and covered in ash. It was the first time, I think. Doctor, you remember nothing else from before that? How long ago was this? How old were you? 273. It is not proper to ask only one question at a time? Is it... 273. Is it not proper to only ask one question at a time? Doctor, answer the questions, please. 273. I don't. It was a very long time ago. Probably data expunged. Doctor. And how old were you? 273. 30 single blank years. That much I remember, and... Pause. I think I had made some great mistake. Perhaps that is why I am what I am now. Doctor. And what are you now? 273. A demon. Note, the preceding interview transcript omits 3 minutes 7 seconds for the beginning and all parts after the last line for a reason. Level 3 clearance or higher is required to access. Level 3 clearance or higher is required for access to the original recording. Know that 273 admitted in the former omitted fragment to involuntarily killing the 2 deceased subjects found near her point of extraction. 273 also identifies the victims as old friends. Staff members working with or observing 273 are to be reminded of this fact, and of procedure for working with humanoid SCPs in general. Dr. Blank. Incident Report 273-02. Date double blank, quadruple blank. Location Site double blank. Agents blank and blank entered the enclosure of 273 with intent to question regarding blank. 273 had earlier been granted a bottle of Bacardi 151 for personal use by Agent Blank. It had been 12 hours and 37 minutes since the last scheduled feeding. Upon the agent's entry, 273 demanded they leave. When they did not at first, 273 became agitated, shouting at them and gesturing frantically. Less than 1 second after they secured the door, the bottle of Bacardi was observed to data expunged. Data expunged extreme damage to SCP-273's Data expunged extreme damage to 273's enclosure and observation room due to flames of unprecedented strength. Recorded temperatures exceeded quadruple blank degrees Celsius. Agent Blank's death will be handled as per normal procedure. Agent Blank is still in recovery as of this writing. 273's ashes have been contained in an airtight, fireproof safe. The damaged enclosure is to be repaired for future use and containing other SCPs. I hate stumbling over my tongue constantly. Incident Report 27303, date double blank, quadruple blank. Location, site, double blank. The fireproof safe was found to be ineffective in containing 273. Severe corrosion damage to the interior hinges of the safe led to breach of containment, followed by the resumed revival of 273. 3 kilograms of raw pork was left in the room and the door secured. Upon awakening, 273 appeared disoriented but consumed the offered meal as expected. 273 then requested to return to its original containment. As said enclosure has since been repaired, this request will be carried out immediately. Addendum 273-03-2. 273's activity has changed drastically since the death event. It rarely leaves the private partition of its enclosure except to feed, and refuses to speak. Surveillance using blank shows that 273 barely moves when on its own, either sleeping or sitting against one wall. It shows classic signs of depression, despite having no prior indications of such a condition, recommending close observation for any additional changes in behavior. Probably because it was drinking alcohol. They were drinking alcohol. You tested to see if 30 minutes past would be okay, and then you, went over their rules, and then they killed someone, which they don't want to do. No more alcohol for me, no more talking to people for me. There I go killing again. Euclid, fire, humanoid, sapient. Well, that one was interesting. Okay, 274, item number 274, object class Keter. Special containment procedures. Any buildings found to be infected with 274 are to be reported immediately to a superior and the leader of Mobile Task Force Pi 1, City Slickers. MTF Pi 1 is to incinerate cases of 274-1 and secure the infected buildings, S in parenthesis, by performing a quarantine with a 1-kilometer radius under the guise of the local police and fire department. MTF Pi 1 is to terminate any cases of 274-2 through the use of high-pressure fire hoses. Civilians insisting on entering an instance of 274-1 are to be detained and have 1 Class B amnestic administered. Any apparatus used to contain or handle 274 should either be incinerated or entirely composed of metal or glass and washed thoroughly immediately after use. The cover story for containment breach of 274 should be gang-related arson. Well, there you go. I just mentioned, the Foundation taking over the fire department and local police stations or whatever. There you go. They got to infiltrate just to, contain whatever this is. They're administering amnestics. But the question is, there I go killing again. Are they going to fucking dome somebody in the head? Description: 274 is a paint of variable color. Buildings inflicted with 274 appear to have large amounts of graffiti covering the sides of the building, and often have large disturbing designs to them. See Addendum 274. While its consistency is that of normal paint, its composition reveals it to be 28% hemoglobin, 12% gastric acid, and 60% common components consistent with Krylon brand spray. And 60% common components consistent with Krylon brand spray paint. When 274 is applied to a wall, it will begin to spread until it has covered the wall and any walls attached to it. 274 is unable to spread on metal, glass, and horizontal surfaces. While 274 spreads on buildings, it will convert the interior of a wall into a large mesoglia. It will convert the interior of a wall into a large mesoglia, the interior walls into a gastrodermis, and the exterior walls act as a protective shell and epidermis. Buildings coated entirely with 274 will become cases of 274-1. I was going to talk about like protobile, but now it's just making organs. Whatever the protoplasmic gas, the soup, primordial soup. 274-1 exhibits signs of life, react to stimuli, and behave in a manner similar to many species of the Anthozoa class. Buildings converted into 274-1 lure passing civilians by emitting noises from inside 274-1. Sounds of glass breaking, loud coughing, or pained whimpers have all been reported from D-Class personnel. It is currently unknown whether 274-1 or 274-2 It is currently unknown whether 274-1 or the 274-2s are responsible for this behavior, as the noises stop immediately after entry. It's like a fucking sentient hunter wall. Typically, civilians will either call the police or investigate the noises themselves. As subjects search inside 274-1, they will be recognized as food by instances of 274-2, if any are present. When a victim enters a room inside 274-1, barring the entryway, they will immediately be suctioned into a gastrovascular cavity belonging to 274-1, later processing them into 274 and one instance of 274-2. The paint that creates buildings that eat people. Specimens of 274-2 are organisms composed of 274 that appear as men or women wearing a gas mask or respirator, along with a bright pastel-colored hoodie. 274-2 is able to support its heavy weight by its thickness and density in its membrane, which consists of 45 to 50% of the mass of 274-2. 274-2 act as nematocysts for 274-1 and can disguise themselves by merging into the walls. This is done by heavily compacting themselves and implanting itself into an interior wall save for their mask, which flattens around the wall and disguises itself as standard graffiti. This behavior has proven to be a means of ambushing food for 274-1 and will only react when it detects something it considers a food source. 274-2 possesses a hinged operculum that ejects 274 located in their right hand. This operculum looks identical to a normal spray can and can project 274 in a similar manner. 274-2 will attempt to spray 274 into the eyes and mouth of its victims in an attempt to incapacitate and encapsulate them. This method of attack has shown to be very painful and will blind and numb the victim from the neck down. Once tagged, the victim is placed into a gastrovascular cavity, resulting in a new 274-2. Sorry, I must have mispronounced gastrovascular as gastrovascular earlier. 274-2 are able to duplicate themselves while inside an instance of 274-1 and will produce one new 274-2 every 24 hours. Once 12 274-2 specimens reside inside one 274-1, further cases of 274-2 will leave 274-1 and find a new building to spray with 274 while avoiding any people they may encounter. Once a building at least 2 kilometers away from another 274-1 is found, the 274-2 will spray 274 onto the building until it has completely dehydrated itself of 274 and dies, resulting in another instance of 274-1. If left unchecked, it is estimated that 274 could cover a large city within 20 days. It's pretty fast. Okay. Where was this? It does say gastrovascular. When a victim enters a room inside 274-1, barring the entryway, they will immediately be suctioned into a gastrovascular cavity belonging to 274-1, later processing them into 274 and one instance of 274-2. Where's this other one? Once tagged, the victim is placed into a gastrovascular cavity, resulting in a new 274-2. I don't know, it could be either. I'm not like a medical knowledge expert. Addendum 274. 274-1 appearance log. Okay. It's a table, date found and appearance. Date found 01 double blank 2001. 27411 is painted to resemble a large bus with a number triple blank on its side. The front of the bus has been replaced by a human-like face, and the back is on fire. Bus patrons all look towards the front of the bus and do not seem to react to the fire. 04 double blank 2006. 27412 is painted to look as if it's crumbling apart. At the base, people are illustrated to be running away from 27412, and a face can be seen forming from the falling rubble. 03 double blank 2010. 27413 depicts a beach with 3 sharks in the water and several people running from the shore. The scene is illustrated behind a large cartoon tiki statue, which takes up most of the front of 27413. 08 double blank 2011. 27414 illustrates what is presumed to be Noah's Ark at sea. The creatures boarding the Ark do not match any known species. The Ark is depicted to have a face with several sharp teeth and eyes devoid of pupils or irises. 11 double blank 2011. 27415 depicts several figures in level 3 biohazard suits at the base. Figures are seen fighting each other for what appears to be a bottle of hand sanitizer. Several cadavers are piled on top of one another in the background, with a large green cloud in the shape of a canine-like face emitting from them. This face is shown laughing, presumably at the people fighting. What the fuck? Okay. Is that like a green version of 939? 07 double blank 2012. We're missing the / twice here. 27416 is painted to resemble a mausoleum, with a large human skull painted on its front. Illustrated at the base of 27416 are figures suffering from advanced stages of rigor mortis. Most notable is that several figures appear to be wearing the standard issue tactical armor distributed to MTF Pi 1. 08 double blank 2012. 27417 is decorated with the scene of MTF Pi 1 setting 27417 on fire through the use of Molotov cocktails. A large depiction of 274-2 can be seen attacking MTF Pi 1. 08 double blank 2012 redacted. Double blank operatives dead as a result of a large mob of 274-2 numbering between triple blank to quadruple blank. Wow. Artistic biohazard, biological, building, chemical, humanoid, keter, predatory, self-replicating. Okay. 275, item number 275. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. Subject is to be contained within a 2 6-meter... What? Oh. Subject is to be contained within 2 6-meter by 6-meter, parentheses 20 feet by 20 feet, subterranean cells that is only accessible by a freestanding overhead elevator. Though she is allowed short-term access to the communal facilities contingent on good behavior, it is accompanied by no fewer than 2 operatives, all armed with gas grenades, filled with an incapacitating agent. Personnel are not to assist 275's self-destructive behavior unless authorized by Level 4 personnel. Such behaviors are either potentially harmful to bystanders or pointless. Subject has requested Bullet, 1 prayer rug, approved. Bullet, 1 Quran, approved. Halal food, approved. Bullet, to be allowed to perform a pilgrimage to Mecca, denied. Bullet, daily portions of chili pepper of a minimum Scoville scale rating of 1 million. Approved, contingent on good behavior. Bullet, regular haircuts, approved. Bullet, hot coals, denied. Bullet, to be flogged, denied. Bullet, to be stabbed, denied. Bullet, to be beaten, denied. Bullet, to be shot, denied. Bullet, to be electrocuted, denied. Bullet, to be set on fire, denied. Description: 275 is a woman who cannot be physically damaged by any means available to the Foundation. Subject is of apparently Middle Eastern origin and claims to have grown up somewhere in the Ottoman Empire. Subject is of apparently Middle Eastern origin and it claims to have grown up somewhere in the Ottoman Empire, but to have been a homeless orphan with no memories before the age of approximately 10. Subject claims to be 168, parentheses 168, years of age, despite appearing to be in her mid-30s. Subject is 1.63 meters, parentheses 5. Subject is 1.63 meters, parentheses 5 foot 4 inches, tall, and weighs 190 kilograms, parentheses 419 pounds. Again, despite having an appropriate and healthy size figure. Hair and eyes are brown. She speaks most languages of the Middle East fluently, and speaks English with a mild accent. 275 is perfectly normal in the fact that she needs to breathe, eat, and sleep. However, subject is almost completely resistant to physical trauma, various forms of radiation, and extreme temperatures. By 275's own recollection, her flesh has never experienced any damage, and her skin has never been pierced or scratched. Testing indicates that the majority of 275's mass is composed of the elements common to all organic life. However, it is currently believed that many of these structural compounds have been replaced with significantly more durable substitutes, and the subject's tissues also appear to contain significantly elevated amounts of various heavy metals. Foundation researchers have thus far been unable to collect tissue samples. Attempts have been made to x-ray the subject, but results were inconclusive. Subject's skin contains significant quantities of radio-opaque elements, repelling most attempts to penetrate it with radiological or electromagnetic means. Diffractometry tests upon cell samples extracted from urine, feces, and menses indicate the presence of several novel polymers. However, the degree to which these polymers are represented in other tissues is speculative at best. This impenetrability of the subject extends through the entirety of the subject, including her hair and nails. Subject has claimed that her hair and nails have not been properly cut since she was 14, parentheses 14, just before her condition manifested itself. In Foundation custody, her hair is to be cut by weekly exposure to a quadruple watt laser, and her fingernails and toenails are to be abraded with an angle grinder on a bi-weekly basis. How is this safe? In addition to this, due to her physical makeup and density, her biology has been slowed as well. Subject ages at least a fourth of the normal rate of aging. Also, her menstrual cycle is approximately 6 months long, with menses itself generally lasting for 3 to 4, parentheses 3 to 4 weeks. 275's mental state has been described by Dr. Glass as worrying. Because her anomalous condition prevents her from experiencing most forms of sensation, she indulges in self-destructive behavior in an effort to perceive tactile stimuli. Was she an anime character?
I only live to feel something. I have so much power, I only live to feel.
Dr. Glass, humanoid, indestructible, rewrite. Sapient, safe. Okay. There's an image. 276. The description of the image is 276 near blank UK, full version available. Okay. Appears to be an image of a boat in front of a city. No idea what's really going on here. It does seem to have inscriptions, like a christened boat or whatever. It's a very hilly town. Lots of either hotels, McMansions, or like really weird, like something going on. I don't know. Maybe like condos? Just very like blocky, several squished together partition houses raising along the very like littered tree line hill. Foreground subject is just this giant boat. There appears to be someone in a rescue boat attached to it, like a small deployable rescue boat. It's really like a yacht I'm looking at. None of the sails are deployed. We seem to be very close to port. Really the only thing I can glean is that on the left-hand side there's further boats, so that's the port side's very close. And as we look up at the hillside, I mean, it just goes further out in the distance to green and then fields of grain or something, and then maybe further trees or like industry or something. It's a very beautiful picture. Right-hand side is just more the same. Like I see a church, a parking lot for like a bar or something. I don't know. Just more buildings. The name of the image is just SCP-276.jpg. No idea. Nice boat, yeah. The boat's nice too. I'm just thinking like the city's good. The boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. Object Class Euclid, Special Containment Procedures. 276 is to be indefinitely moored at Site Double Blank's docks, with access given only to personnel with Level 3 clearance or higher. Considering its unique qualities, no objects originating from an earlier, or possibly later, era than our own are to be taken onto 276, due to the potential for loss of valuable materials. Huh. Okay. Huh. We need advanced stuff. Or like current day stuff. Regular maintenance to be carried out after 276 has been made incapable of operation due to containment issues. Description: 276 has a variable shape, size, and mass, but always appears to be a nautical vessel of make and model relevant to whatever era it exists in. Currently it takes the form of a large sailing schooner, 92.93 meters, parentheses 304.9 feet, in length, and weighing 1360 metric tons. Under normal conditions, 276 operates as a standard sailing vessel, capable of achieving 16.2 knots at optimal conditions, regardless of its current manifestation. On 276's bridge, near the wheel of the ship, is a throttle labeled forward, back, and back again. Usage of any of these functions will activate 276's ability to travel through time, while taking anyone currently on the vessel as well. This ability is only limited by the requirement that the era in question possesses some form of boat. Well, that's cool. Attempts made to travel before the emergence of human life have failed, as well as trips made into the far future. The throttle will act in relation to the current era, with the exception of back again, which will return 276 to modern time. It is unknown if operation of 276 can fundamentally alter history due to the retroactive nature of time. True. True. Could be many universes here, could just be like overriding, could just be like the demo mode that we've seen in like the flying train. So it could be retrocausality, it could be, you just erase it and put something over it, erase it again, it's fine in the same universe. Maybe you get a new one every time you erase and do something, I don't know. Any changes made would already have taken effect, and all current research into 276 is related to making sure that any possible manipulation of the timeline does not occur. We just want to prevent even researching this, kinda. Of note is the anti-anachronistic nature of 276. Beyond its tendency to change its form to the respective era it resides in, all non-human objects on 276 will alter as well to become time-appropriate. A flashlight taken back to early 1700s will revert to a more primitive form of illumination such as a gas lamp. Organic life is unaffected with the exception of creatures that either do not exist yet or have ceased to exist. In both cases, the animal will become another species from the closest taxonomic rank it shares. That's fucking weird. Dead persons brought to modern times are similarly affected, becoming an entirely different person. Genealogical testing reveals that the subjects are data expunged. Oh yeah. We're like noting how time mechanics are just kind of goofy. Okay, no matter what way you go back and what like method of time travel, it's still kind of fucking goofy. So we gotta account for like all methods, I think. No, 276 is not, I repeat, not to be used as a recreational device, especially involving exploitation of 276's temporal qualities. Temporarily restricting access to level 4 personnel until further notice. Dr. Blank. Addendum. As of single blank, double blank, quadruple blank, the newly formed Mobile Task Force Row 5, Stitch in Time, is to be assigned to and given full security clearance involving the use of 276. After taking into consideration 276's ability to fix anachronisms and errors in time, all missions involving temporal tampering are to be headed by Row 5. Okay. Euclid. Temporal vehicle. That one's cool. Time ship was a little literal there, but, kind of like, instead of fucking with the timelines, it sort of makes you fit the timeline that you're on. I imagine like bringing a dog breed that doesn't exist back in like early naval times. It turns into a different dog. You go back and it's like, well, I guess it's like this weird dog now, because that time machine set up that way, so like now my dog's stuck this way. Fuck. 277, item number 277, object class Euclid. Special containment procedures. Due to difficulties inherent in containing 277, it has been placed under a level single blank lockdown. Activities of the residents of 277 must be monitored by no less than double blank embedded agents, and civilians are not to be aware of Foundation presence or influence. Any attempts to contact civilians within 277 by those outside 277 must be investigated. Personnel must undergo psychological screening before being assigned to 277. Description: 277 is a moderately populated town in blank blank. The principal anomaly within 277 are apparitions found throughout the area that seem to be images projected from children's thoughts or imagination. These are collectively referred to as 277-1. Incidents of 277-1 appear as figures drawn in white outlines with no physical substantiality of their own. The size, style in which they are drawn, and the complexity of the projections vary from child to child. This sounds like a Doctor Who episode. Prepubescent children are the only individuals capable of producing such incidents, and the process of projecting one seems for the most part to be unconscious and involuntary. An average of triple blank incidents of 277-1 are present at any given time within the area. A largely comprehensive catalog of prepubescents and the designation of their projections may be found in document 277 double blank. While embedded agents are requested to report potentially uncategorized children to their supervisors to be examined, due to the size of 277, the prepubescent population there within, and security complications, this is recognized as occasionally unfeasible. I need to piss! Incidences of 277-1 are capable of interacting with each other, although physical objects pass through, leaving no damage to either party. Children frequently play with their projections, and the existence of 277-1 is regarded as normal by residents of the town. It's like our real imaginary friends we make on the paper. It's just like fucking drawn to life. That game for the Nintendo Wii and the Nintendo DS. It's just scribble knots. You type in the words and you get it fucking poof out. Civilians in 277 claim that the projections have been present within the town since its colonization. This claim is dubious at best, as there are no records of the area's existence before the year 2000 triple blank, and the towns immediately surrounding the area deny any knowledge of the city. Testing of members within 277 revealed that their dental, fingerprint, and DNA records correspond with no recorded population databases. When under questioning, civilians denied having memories of living or traveling anywhere but within 277. Self-contained? Not the piss, not like this. I get a piss? Well, Foundation agents have verified that another anomaly has happened. We all have to piss collectively? Containment has been breached. Operation 277 blank, update the first. Attempt number hash single blank, or pound, whatever. Attempt number single blank to evacuate 277 has commenced on 6/15 double blank. Small changes were made to the previously detailed methods of evacuation, namely expunged, in hopes of avoiding what may have caused previous failures. Documents outlining past attempts to remove civilians from 277 may be found at data expunged. Residents continue to deny any memory of previous evacuation attempts. Personnel members involved in previous assignments involving the suppression of 277-1 and 277-1 single blank R, in particular, seem to have been redacted. More trained personnel and Class D subjects are requested along with the necessary medical equipment in the event of another such incident. Huh. Get another, like, mid-redaction. Mid-sentence redaction kind of thing. That one didn't cut anything off, though. It was just, like, in the middle of the sentence. Operation 277 blank, update the second. As of 6/23 double blank, Operation 277 blank has proven unsuccessful due to data corrupted. 277-1 single blank R demonstrated the ability to render mental damage not only to prepubescents but to physically mature agents. No further evacuation attempts are to be carried out. Level single blank lockdown suggested. Dr. R blank. So, like, someone made a cartoon manifestation creature that, like, psychically attacked. Yeah? Is that what happened? Foundation personnel have been unable to trace the source of file operation 277 blank. Foundation databanks have been unable to produce an expunged copy. Foundation databanks have been unable to produce an unexpunged copy of the file. No personnel or civilians in the area are able to recall any attempts made to evacuate, and the legitimacy of the file has been called into question multiple times. As per common consensus, however, no further evacuation efforts have been planned. Furthermore, it has been discovered that when a resident of 277 leaves the area for over double blank minutes, they are violently redacted and then may be found within the area with no memory of departing the area. They're like fucking teleported? Addendum 277A. As of 9/14 double blank, an unaccounted for 277-1 was photographed in the local library by a Foundation agent. No one in the vicinity claimed to be responsible for the projection. As the appearance and actions of incidents of 277-1 are often telling of a child's psychological profile, efforts are being taken to identify the owner of these projections, designated 277-1R single blank. Projections that match the image shown in drawing style or behavior are to be reported immediately. Addendum 277B. Sightings of projections that are similar to 277R blank have tripled in frequency since 9/23 double blank. On 10/5 double blank, there were double blank child casualties made by members of 277R upon children's projections. Oh, fuck. See interview 277A for details. This links to 277 interview. Update. 3 months following this incident, members of 277R blank have vanished from the area. It is still unknown whether they were projections from a child or a manifestation native to 277 itself. Addendum 277C. Inquiries made to civilians regarding the incident on 10/5 double blank have returned with mixed results. A number of the residents claimed that they had never witnessed such an occurrence before and expressed desire for Foundation officials to quickly identify and prosecute the perpetrator. Others claim that similar events happen periodically every single blank years. Personnel staffing 277 have expressed discomfort when dealing with members of the town. They smile too wide, as if this entire place is just a fairy tale, and that massacre was just part of their happy ending. Agent J. Blank. Yeah, that's fucking horrifying. Interview 277A? It's pretty short. You look at that, it's even less than an hour. You hear it again.
Oh wait, it's a little late. Maybe I shouldn't fucking blast my huge truck at massive speed.
No. Interview 277A. Interviewed Agent Davis. Interviewer, Dr. A. Blank. Begin log. Dr. A. Blank. Right then, please begin at the point where you first saw the SCP-277 double blank. Agent Davis. Well, I was walking to a local diner after the end of my shift when I saw a cluster of them across the street. Dr. A. It would be helpful if you could include as many details as you can recall, Davis. They were in the form of rabbits. Most of those are for some reason. Regular kids imagine things from spaceships to magic beanstalks within an hour, but all I've seen drawn in that style are rabbits. They were huddled at a street intersection, watching the passing people and cars, I think. They don't move very much or play like the other sketches. That's what the personnel there have taken to calling them, sketches. Mostly they watch others. The evil killer drawn rabbit sketches. Doctor. You weren't alarmed by them? Davis. What? No. They were pretty common by then. They didn't really do anything hostile, so the hype about them had calmed down. Doctor. Noted. Please continue. Davis. Right. Well, after I walked by them, I heard this kid scream from behind me. Little girl, maybe 8 years old. She'd been playing with her sketch when I passed, this winged pony thing. So I turn around and one of the rabbits is on her sketch. I've never seen anything moving that fast, and it was the closest I can think of is consuming it, while the girl was going into some type of seizure. I had trouble making sense of what I was seeing at first. It looked like one huge white scribble in the air. There was no helping the girl. I was holding her so she wouldn't hurt her head against the concrete. But I'm no doctor. More of the rabbits had reached other sketches by then, and those sketches too were being torn apart, and the kids were all screaming. And according to the documents I've been giving, this was happening all over the town, right? Doctor, that's correct. Davis, I unloaded a expletive redacted load of shots into the thing, but of course that didn't help. Don't really know why I did that. They're on comas now, aren't they? The kids. Doctor, yes, they are. I think that will be all, Agent Davis. Davis, one last thing. Doctor, yes. Davis, may I request to be transferred out of 277? Doctor, you have already been reassigned to SCP triple blank. Davis, thanks. Goodbye then, Doctor. End log. Interview supplement. Well, that's fucking horrible. I hate that. City, Euclid, intangible, visual. It's like Chalk Zone. Rudy got the chalk, or like, I don't know, fucking digital world, where we all get our like imaginary creature. And like the demon harvester shows up and starts devouring the energy. 278, item number 278, object class safe. Special containment procedures. Without any input into its controls, 278 will construct its web in any dimly lit large open area, preferring high 90-degree tri-corner roofs spanning 300 cubic meters. Those personnel at its controls report that the ease of piloting 278 appears inconsistently simple in comparison to the complexity of the mechanisms involved and the lack of any electronic guidance. Description: 278 is a large mechanical robot made of steel, iron, and banyan wood, strongly resembling Idiops barcudensis, a type of Indian arachnid. Clear signs that 278 has been upgraded or modernized recently have been found. Core mechanisms and frame of the body are dated back some 150 years to the expunged period. Many new engineering components have been added by unknown parties. Hydraulics and servos seem to have replaced what were systems of pulleys and gears driven by steam engines. The average length of 278 is about 16.5 meters, parentheses 54 feet. From the opistosoma, parentheses abdomen, to the tip of the furthest leg in the highest part of the main body sits around. The average length of 278 is about 16.5 meters, parentheses 54 feet. From the opistosoma, parentheses abdomen, to the tip of the furthest leg and the highest part of the main body sits about 8.2 meters, parentheses 27 feet, off the ground. A control panel of levers and pedals are positioned at what would be the mid-cephalothorax on the back of 278. Again, numerous modifications have been made to the control panel, actually simplifying the control scheme into a more conventional flight stick and throttle configuration. Though 278 lacks any electronics, CPU, or wiring beyond the presence of a few dozen car batteries, the complex motions of bipedal locomotion are fully automated through a complex network of looping tethers, compound pulleys, belts, and hydraulic pistons. The oldest functioning component of 278 is a type of processing transmission, relying on multiple rotating perforating. The oldest functioning component of 278 is a type of processing transmission, relying on multiple rotating perforated drums and coils, providing different instructional input for commands of motion. A human operator working the controls essentially shifts gears to readjust the configuration and position of the control drums and coils, which guide the rhythm of motion to the legs essential for moving 278. Why do I think of Wild Wild West? Wasn't there like a giant iron spider in that? Though the finer details that control 278 are not fully understood, researchers are perplexed by the autonomy 278 displays when no human input is presented. It is not known how 278 is capable of moving and performing complex tasks on its own without an operator, the most impressive of which is the construction of an elaborate web. made from nylon tether, similar to bungee cord, with high tensile strength. The cords are constantly stored and reused since the discovery of 278. Typical web having a diameter of about 41 meters. Well, that's cool. This is an example of like foundation technology that like produces something far more advanced than we could conceive usually. Like, oh, it's cool, we could make that, but like, okay, hell yeah. Addendum 278 escaped confinement on the 2nd of September 2008 when SCP triple blank. Addendum 278 escaped confinement on the 2nd of September 2008 when SCP triple blank breached its own containment, disabling the facility located at Expunged. During the night, 278 had traveled Expunged kilometer to Liverpool, England, where it was found poised vertically upside down on the side of a building known as Concourse House. SCP personnel posing as a theatrical group introduced 278 to citizens as La Princesse, the showcase of a theatrical production. With human operators at the controls, 278 was paraded around the city under the guise of a show. Oh, that sounds fucking magical. Isn't that wonderful? Arachnid Autonomous Mechanical Safe. Alright. 279, item number 279, object class Euclid, special containment procedures. There's no known way of inhibiting 279's movements. As 279 has not yet been sighted outside of its host town, D triple blank, the city has been placed under a level single blank lockdown. No media regarding 279 are permitted to leave the town. If at all possible, the civilians are to be kept unaware of the anomalous properties of 279, as well as the fact that their city is being monitored. Strike-through. 279 requires no other containment methods to remain secure unstrike-through. A minimum of 2 agents are to follow 279's movements as closely as they are able. Description: 279 appears to be a man in his early 40s, of unremarkable appearance and dress. 279 does not respond to any form of external stimuli, and has not been observed to deviate from a standard neutral expression. 279 has been reported to spontaneously disappear and reappear throughout D triple blank, representing unusual difficulties to agents required to monitor it. 279 seemingly spends the majority of its time traveling through the town of D blank. Attempts to eliminate 279 have failed. 279 continues whatever it is in the process of doing, regardless of any injury it has sustained. Small portions of 279 attempt to continue locomotion even when separated from the whole. In light of this, attempts to dispatch 279 have been indefinitely postponed. All samples taken confirm that 279 is human. At approximately 3 a.m., 279 vanishes for 2 hours and returns in its original state at another location in D blank. Containment or restraint is impossible as 279 possesses an inordinate amount of strength when physically restrained and has utilized its ability to spontaneously appear in a different location when indirectly restrained. Although 279 has no known motive, it does not have a known history of violent behavior. 279 has been observed standing in unusual areas for up to several days at a time, looking into windows of unoccupied rooms, walking in a circle roughly 2 meters in diameter for double blank hours. Data expunged in houses, entering shops and redacted, staring redacted. Shop manager informed local authorities after 3 minutes, walking along roads, etc. So it seems to be like a super powerful being that doesn't want to be bothered, but also just has like an interest in this world. Care must be taken to avoid direct skin contact with 279. When such contact is made, the person in question will vanish along with 279 at the usual time of disappearance. Only one individual has been recovered after direct contact with 279, despite redacted D-class and equipment expended. Said individual appeared to be in a state of near catatonic shock upon recovery in a basement. After being relocated to Site Double Blank, the The subject showed signs of being legally blind despite examinations proving vision was only slightly farsighted. Subject appeared to be reasonably lucid despite showing signs of mental data expunged. Data expunge reported saying "get away from me" repeatedly while data expunge, however, does not satisfactorily explain the injuries the subject incurred while confined to a straitjacket in a padded room. Addendum 279A. Agents monitoring 279 have brought to our attention a problematic development. While in the past information leaks were secured easily due to the fact that 279 rarely appeared near large crowds, it has recently been frequenting densely populated areas. More conspicuously odd actions have also been noted. I just can't fucking talk. More conspicuously odd actions have also been noted, although this may be due to the fact that more people are reporting unusual events surrounding 279. Despite our best efforts, 279 has since become something of a landmark of the town due to its open, unusual behavior. Liberal amounts of amnestics were administered when citizens noticed connections between missing individuals and 279. Violence directed towards 279 attracted large amounts of attention and resulted in an immense security breach before agents were able to arrive. Currently, efforts are being made to maintain security without upsetting the population of D blank. However, if Redacted fails, the city is to be put under a level double blank lockdown. Attempts to maintain any pretense that D blank is not being closely monitored will be discontinued. As it is a relatively small town, the process of data expunged ought to go smoothly. Dr. Blank. Ellipses. Level 5 security clearance required. Currently, a researcher who has a notable history of Redacted noticed an odd distortion in a picture of 279. After considerable concentration, the doctor was able to see a similar distortion in all files depicting 279. Dr. Blank then discovered an effective method of Redacted, an extremely elaborate and convoluted process. After considerable time, Redacted was able to achieve the desired effect. An extremely subtle mimetic hazard had affected 279 in nearly all examinations it was involved in. Since then, 279 has been confirmed to be decidedly not human. DNA retesting is impossible due to the nature of 279, but appears to be Redacted. Redacted testing confirmed that agents have claimed to be grasping 279's arm when, as viewed with the aid of Dr. Blank's methods, the agent's arm appeared to be data expunged up to the elbow and Redacted is unknown. Redacted researchers were reminded that despite the admittedly unsavory aspects of allowing it to interact with civilians, data expunge use of Foundation resources, coupled with the fact that very little is known of 279's motives, requests to evacuate D blank have been denied, along with requests to data expunged. Researchers are reminded to maintain a professional calm. As per mutual agreement, the containment procedures regarding 279 have been updated. Agents tasked with monitoring 279 have not been informed of its nature, as the information was deemed to be too distressing. Maybe it's gonna spread from that town. Maybe it's just like checking out everything really slowly, and as long as you don't interact with it, you're fine. But like, it's just going places and looking at stuff. And once you grab onto it, you like teleport through time like super duper fast or whatever. Like it takes you to the time stream where you can't look at it, your eyes freak out. Most people just don't survive or whatever, they let go. This person thought to hang on, yeah? This guy jumps into the time vortex and jumps back out. Just like looks at shit. Euclid humanoid indestructible. Tactile teleportation uncontained. Alright, the last one for tonight. Gonna read 280 this evening. Okay, we get an image. The caption for the image is 280 losing physical cohesion during initial capture. This looks cool as hell. The name of the image is new SCP-280.png. It appears to be like a floating shadow figure. We have a black and white photo of what appears to be like a 1960s home. It really, the subject is in the like top right quadrant, mid-top quadrant. It really just kind of has like a creepy pasta vibe to it. The top of the ceiling also has some odd texture going on. It appears to be some odd shape protruding from the wall. It looks kind of like a scary face with like a really odd mouth. Or it could just be the top of the lantern, the lamp that it's protruding from. It looks like a shadowy figure with maybe wings or horns. Definitely what appears to be both, or maybe even legs. And it looks like it appears to be protruding from one of the objects in the room. This diamond-shaped, probably just decorative ornament. Anyway, nothing else seems to be anomalous in the image. It's just like a living room. I would sit there and describe the whole image, but I'm tired. Alright, Object Class Keter, Special Containment Procedures 280 is to be contained in a 5 by 5 meter cell, and no equipment of any kind is to be left inside when staff are not present. Containment area is to be kept in total darkness at all times. Any items taken into the containment cell must be removed by staff at the end of testing, and any staff entering into containment must wear infrared goggles and be equipped with an infrared ID strobe and a strong flashlight. In the event of an 280 attack, all staff are to power on their flashlights and illuminate the subject under attack. No aggressive action is to be taken against 280, and staff are to be... I love this song. Bled my ears. I love this song, but no. In the event of an 280 attack, all staff are to power on their flashlights and illuminate the subject under attack. No aggressive action is to be taken against 280, and staff are to keep 1 meter from 280 at all times. Staff should continue to illuminate 280 until it retreats to a sufficient distance to allow the recovery and extraction of the subject of the attack. Description: 280 is a black human-shaped mass with 2 large white eyes on the head and 2 hands with very long and thin fingers. No feet or legs are visible, as the lower portion of the body appears to fade away several centimeters from the ground. 280 appears to be wholly composed of matter that can gain or lose corporeal form. This matter is very black, with only the eyes showing any other color, and when changing to a non-corporeal form looks much like smoke. The eyes are non-functioning and appear only when 280 is retreating, appearing to be used like eye spots on some insects. 280 is very strong and has been observed pulling apart steel with its hands, showing no sign of stress. 280 moves with a gliding motion, with its hands extended, described as a sleepwalker pose by observers. 280 will move slowly towards any human beings and attempt to attack them. 280 appears to sense human life. No limit has yet been found on this ability. 280 will approach to within 14 centimeters of a subject, then use its hands to pull and tear at the subject, causing massive physical trauma. The attack can last between 1 and 5 minutes, and will continue until the death of the subject, at which point 280 will expose its eyes, lose corporeal form, and move to the next human. If no humans are present, 280 will move and ball up against a wall or other structure until a human being is again present. 280 will retreat slowly from light, exposing its eyes in the direction of the light, or at any nearby humans. This has been described as extremely disconcerting by those who have been stared at. If the area that 280 currently resides in becomes fully illuminated, Where there is a very bright burst of light, 280 will fade away and reappear in another area. This appears to be done purely as a defensive response to light, and will not be used to follow or attack prey. 280 does not appear to eat, breathe, or sleep. It does not ingest any of the tissue removed during an attack and simply drops it to tear a new piece. Due to its ability to become incorporeal at will and its aggressive nature, no samples of 280 have been collected. Addendum, notes on recovery. 280 was recovered in Blank, Mississippi after several reports of locked room murders and child deaths. All were reported as being extremely vicious, and victims were horribly mangled. The Foundation became involved after a family of 5 was murdered in their home. A survivor was found in the basement, 9-year-old David Blank, who had come over for a sleepover. He was found in an advanced state of shock, holding a flashlight and unresponsive to outside stimulus. During an investigation of the basement, an officer was attacked and badly mutilated. His statement attracted the interest of Foundation agents. During recovery, 280 was temporarily lost to its ability to teleport when exposed to high levels of light. It was also observed that 280 is frequently discounted as a shadow when seen in the dark, or dismissed as clothing, hair, or another object when accidentally touched in the dark. When tracking a subject, 280 will remain incorporeal until the moment of attack, causing some to walk very close or through 280. Subjects report a feeling of dread and unease when inside 280. 280 usually does not respond to this, but will sometimes expose its eyes and enter its retreating posture when passed through. No pattern has emerged for this behavior. Addendum, notes following testing. During a series of extensive testing of the effects of various illumination sources on 280's retreat reflex, 280 broke containment. 280 was observed to repeatedly appear and dissipate throughout the illuminated site, progressing through the sublevels and eventually appearing in 1591's containment chamber. Upon being exposed to 1591, 280 displayed its eyes but did not retreat. The entity paused and knelt for several minutes before demanifestation. 280 reappeared in its cell several hours later without incident. Humanoid, intangible, Keter, light, predatory, teleportation. Here's 1591, if you wanted to look at it really quickly. And yeah, thank you very much for enjoying some more Foundation Wiki. It's been fun. I'll see you later, homies. Peace out.